a change of range.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to day 2 of week 3 here at the PGL Dota 2 Experience, Southeast Asia Upper Division. I guess this may be the halfway point as I look at my panelists, Black and Lizard. Right, 6 weeks of Dota 2 action is what the intro says, and I guess week 3, day 2 is probably the halfway point, right? You tell me, Black.
Wouldn't week 3, day 1 be the halfway point?
No, because I'm assuming on week 6 there are 3 days of gameplay.
All right.
It doesn't end on week 6, day
so
1.
halfway point is after
Game
half
1
of
this.
the series.
Yeah, exactly.
Game 1.5, there's 3 even.
But we only have 1 series today.
That's true.
It's only 1.
But if it's 3 games, it's 1.5 games.
It's true. So right at the mid game of game 2.
On the production, it's going to be very tough on them.
It will be.
To figure out when it really is.
I need there to be a ceremony whenever we hit the halfway point.
Do we have fireworks?
Exactly. Streamers.
Yeah. Might be a little bit dangerous since we're inside a closed building.
Yeah, whatever. They can handle the pyrotechnics. I have
they
faith.
can do it. They can do it.
Pop some fireworks in
Especially if they had HyperX and the premium comfort of Secret Lab chairs handling the fireworks.
I heard their leather does not burn.
I saw that. Abrasion resistant, maybe even fire resistant. Don't quote me on that. I don't know their marketing material, and I don't want you to set any chairs on fire. But given the comfort and support, I wouldn't be surprised.
Of course.
But it is only 1 series of today, Boom versus T1. And it's a late start as well, so wherever you are, I hope you're tuned in for only 1 series here in Southeast Asia. And it's a middle of the pack defining one. Neither of these teams I've been too impressed with so far. I'm not really seeing either of them as major contenders. T1, I would love to see them make a break for it, because I thought that 23 Savage is an excellent pickup, but its Singapore Major didn't really impress me. And you can see on these standings, they are just currently 1-1, and their 1 victory was versus the 0-3 team at the bottom, Lil Gun. And so they are near the bottom, but you know, it's a good company with Neon and Fnatic. And Boom, 2-2 right now.
Yeah, when you look at T1, they struggled. Yeah, they struggled in the Singapore Major as well. But it wasn't truly because of 23 Savage. They also had different stand-ins, plus 23 Savage was new. You literally had 2 new players for them. So it's kind of expected that you won't be able to perform to the level that you showed in the DPC Season 1. But still, in the second season, so far, I haven't seen anything from them that's notable, that's something to look forward to. They just need to switch it all around and show huge improvement to even win this series versus Boom.
A solid 2.5 out of 5. They're like as average as you can be in the season at least.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, they're not great, not terrible. Like they have their fundamentals down, but if you want to get to the major, you gotta show more than that.
Yeah, at most we were able to get an interview with Cuckoo after their Lil Gun victory, and we were like, what happened, man? What happened at the major? And he's like, they didn't have the master. Cuckoo Master. They didn't have them at the major, so no wonder they couldn't perform to expectations. But they have Cuckoo here in this DPC league.
Makes you wonder what happened in the first day against Smart Omega.
That's what I exactly,
Cuckoo
right?
got back.
Yeah, the Master is back. What happened, Master? Okay, so sometimes it takes it takes a little while. It takes a little bit of time to gel back on as a team after. I mean, in this season, you can pretty much. This is the time. There's no more.
It's the halfway point.
It's the halfway point. There's no more. They can't allow themselves to drop any more games. If they do, it's out of your control. You can hope for a tiebreaker, but for a major slot, it's very difficult. Like it's completely out of your hands.
A lot of big teams still ahead of them.
Yeah.
Dropping to like what, 2 losses would be rough. But
Yeah.
maybe even for Boom, if they lose this, they have 3 losses. So might be even more important for them to win.
And really, the only front runner we have right now is TNC. They seem to be quite good. Neon, we haven't seen enough of quite yet. Fnatic, we watched yesterday, still kind of shaky. They got their win, but
Gotten better.
Yep.
they're getting better, exactly. So
Yep.
we want to see this upwards trajectory from every single team. Need to see it from T1. Boom, we've already seen 4 series from. Kind of have a good read on them. T1, we've only seen 2 series from them.
And the thing is, we've seen the same thing in the last season as well. Like you gotta start strong and finish strong. Like if you start slow, you accumulate 2 or 3 losses.
Yeah.
Whether you get
It's
to the major or
hard.
not,
Yeah.
out of your hands.
It's so hard to get back into it. And Boom, they had the same scenario in the first season. Hopefully, they will give their best to not repeat it. And they were in this situation in which it completely didn't matter what they did. They won their games. They ended up on, what, 3-4, I believe? And then they were just there chilling, waiting for the results to see if they will even be given the chance to fight for that wildcard spot in the tiebreaker, which eventually didn't happen. So it's a really bad situation to be in. You don't want to be relying on someone else's performance to get that opportunity to go to the major.
But they can rely on Dreamacel's performance now, because Dreamacel's back here for Season 2, and he will be going head-to-head against 23 Savage, which is a rough carry matchup, I'd say. On paper, I'd say 23 Savage, the MMR points alone should catapult T1 to victory. But Dota's a team game, Black.
It's not how Dota works, unfortunately. It can be 20k. If your strategy is lacking, if your team play is lacking, or your chemistry is lacking. 23 Savage, I've played against him a lot in pubs, seen a lot of him in pub games, and he is way stronger there. Just doesn't really feel like T1 really knows how to like enable him yet, make the best usage of him.
Utilize him, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the problem with a lot of pub stars whenever they first break into competitive, I've noticed, which is why it's usually an exception rather than a rule whenever you take a high MMR player, jam them into some random team, and they excel, because usually it takes time. Like you were saying, that you like to 1v1 versus these younger players who are a little bit too emotionally driven and kind of want to tame that energy a little bit.
I mean, they're really good, right? Like, they're really good, but
Mechanically.
mechanically, exactly. Like mentally, they're not as stable as the more seasoned players because they get too excited too easily. You know, they go for too risky dives too easily because they're acting on emotions.
Or they'll lose confidence a lot of the
Or
times.
they lose confidence.
Yeah,
There's
we've
lots of things that can happen if you don't have experience.
Yep. And we've seen exactly this situation in first season as well, in which teams mostly got rid of their carry players. Why? Because it was a carry meta, it was a carry patch, and it was very apparent when a player wasn't comfortable in his decision making. You could really see when we had a couple of ones where they're winning the game, Boom in particular, they're winning a game, but Drew back then, he just wouldn't go in. He wouldn't go in for the juggler, for the kill, to seize the opportunity and end the game. Instead, he would always wait for that one extra item, which eventually did cost them a couple of series.
And if it's on the back of some heroes that it's very critical to get those, you know, killer instinct blows like Faceless Void. We've been seeing a lot of Faceless Void on the come up recently. And we've seen a lot of really sketchy chronos, especially in Southeast Asia. So these are
Yeah.
heroes that you need to be very, very careful of.
It's always hard to be critical because sometimes the draft just revolves purely around the chrono, and then there's so much pressure on them. We don't know how much practice they have on the hero. Suddenly end up chronoing more teammates than enemies. Like, I got 5, guys.
That's why yesterday I was watching Alliance versus Secret, and it was Nico Baby on the Faceless Void and Limp on the DK, and they were against Yaps or Winter Wyvern. And really, Nico Baby's only job was like, either I get this Winter Wyvern, or someone else needs to deal with Winter Wyvern. I don't really care who I chrono. It's just as long as Wyvern's under control, that's all that matters.
That lineup is really good, for example, because DK jumps in first, gives you some information, and then you can chrono,
Yeah.
or not chrono, depending on what you need.
It's also exactly what he just said. You usually, if you're playing a Void and you don't have this hero that wants to jump in first, and you have to be the one, the chronos aren't going to look that great. So you always kind of need this Ogre even, Spirit Breaker, anything that jumps in, goes in, just gives some info, and then you play off of that. Dragonite is a perfect example, obviously, too. But if you're the one that's supposed to jump in first, chrono a target, when you know you're playing into a Shadow Demon, Oracle, Winter Wyvern,
Saving
That's
heroes.
the best feeling.
it's, yeah,
I got 2 guys. One gets Oracle ulted, one gets disrupted.
that's it.
I got 0 guys.
Someone has your back. It's the most important thing.
But for me, when it comes to this series and these 2 teams, I have to talk about Beastmaster like every single day.
Of course.
Because Boom lost with him. They lost 2 games with Beastmaster. One they played on mid lane, they lost. The other they played on off lane, they lost. So I wonder if it will be banned out by T1 or if they will maybe take a risk and let it go through. Because that hero is...
It's not banned yet.
that hero is just... I just don't understand.
No one understands.
I don't...
It's beyond moral comprehension.
There are some situations, like no matter what position you play, no matter how hard you're losing, just get that Aghanims around 14-minute mark.
That's it.
That's it.
Game over.
Yep.
Except for Boom. Somehow Boom couldn't figure it out, which is why you're right. Boom do have first pick. I'm not really convinced if T1 will ban it out. Maybe they saw those games and they're like, oh, this is the one team that does not know how to win with Beastmaster.
Lifestealer
They will ban out Lifestealer.
which is good against, well, good and bad against Beast.
Yeah, good and bad, and maybe
Both.
they're planning on Centaur opening or something similar. But okay, T1.
What's it gonna be?
Of course. We're going to have a game of Dota. We won't see just flying axes around.
I'm
We're
disappointed.
yeah.
Oh yes, Whitemon back on camera. Oh man, is he going to be eating? This is the biggest question, and it is indeed a center opening. Good call.
He's cat jamming right
He's
now.
cat jamming
So
right now.
far, nothing. He's not eating anything.
What a shame.
If he's cat jamming, that means he already has the energy,
that's
so he
true.
has already munched on something.
It is a late series today.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's already had lunch.
Gotta burn those calories with the head wiggles.
Yeah, but
How many head wiggles a minute do you need to burn a calorie?
A single calorie?
A single calorie? No, not too many.
Yeah, not too many. For a single calorie, that can't be that much.
For a head wiggle though?
Yeah. I mean, head wiggle, you use,
It
you use some
depends.
core strength.
Yeah, it depends how much energy you use.
You know, a little bit
you-
of abdominal. Your
exactly.
And suddenly
It-
just do like a full crunch one.
like you could also just use the head, or you could put your body into it.
yeah, no, I
so-
need the full body wiggle, not just the neck.
Exactly.
I'm still waiting for it. Like some guy is just doing some pull-ups while the team is drafting in the background just to show
Yeah,
off.
I know. I'm seeing a lot of people like petting cats and dogs and
Yep.
European webcams, but
There's a huge opportunity that they're missing in various ways to abuse the camera
For sure.
situation. But let's not give them any huge
Treant
ideas.
Protector.
Overgrowth, use that root against the centaur. Put your head into it. Yeah.
Assuming that the cast animation doesn't take too long.
Yep. Yeah. Not really a popular hero. Lion is prevents them from picking any sort of these. Well, doesn't really prevent them, but it becomes a bit of a problem to go for these void spirits and storms and.
I kind of feel like a Final Fantasy character now.
We're in our idle animation.
Dun, 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 dun.
Pick your hero.
Whitemon is the same.
he's still
Yeah.
head jam.
this is before he starts playing. This is his idol
Oh, man.
animation. You know.
No, he's probably listening to some K-pop. He's like, oh yeah.
You know what he's probably listening to is Ignition. Okay, so apparently there's a YouTube video. Cuckoo challenged Whitemon to sing Ignition, I think. I don't know if it's the R. Kelly Ignition or if there was like a Southeast Asia song called Ignition, but I saw it on Twitter. I have maybe we'll see if we can pop it up for game number 2 with production. But there was a challenge, Cuckoo challenged Whitemon to do like some karaoke kind of thing. And so
Who
I'm
won?
curious if
Who
that's
won?
what his music taste is.
Dude, he's good at singing.
Is he really?
Yeah, because whenever you play with him in pubs, he just opens his mic and he goes ham.
Is that true?
Yeah, at the beginning every game.
Oh, that must be the reason for it.
And
Then.
he sings.
Yeah, I mean, he has all sorts of things. But
He's very
singing
vocal.
is one of them.
Oh, I see. I see.
Very vocal. Talks all the time.
I would love to have him in my pubs. I can whip out the harmonica. He can
Oh
sing.
man, have a little jam session.
I'm gonna give the back a beatbox. We could make a whole band in the game. 0-10, but we're
But
winning
at least you're
emotionally.
having an amazing time.
You know who else we would need? Insania from Liquid to rap. Give us some rap. there.
Wait, I didn't know that that's a talent of his.
It isn't, but I remember when he was starting up, like long time ago, when he just got into Dota. Every single game, he would just narrate everything
Oh yes,
he's
I have
doing.
heard that before. Yes.
Like, I would get him. I actually had him muted a couple of games, and then I would at the end I would unmute him because it's not that annoying. It's just after 50
course.
times.
I mean, there's something called too much information. And
Yes.
that's certainly a big problem in Dota sometimes.
I've watched many an Eternal Envy stream, and I know
Yeah.
that there is such a thing as
Get back, get back, get back, get back, get back.
micromanaging a little too much.
That's
Fury, get a TP top.
Drop your stick. Drop your stick.
Drop your stick, drop your stick, drop your stick, take the cheese. Agent cheese.
What's your
makes-
communication like on your competitive teams, Black? Were you
I
ever
am
you very
calm,
quiet?
collected, and very on point.
Were you ever an in-game leader? Were you ever like?
Yeah, I was.
Did you
Like,
enjoy that
twice.
responsibility?
I mean, it's like you still do what you usually do, right? It's just like you make the bigger calls. Like, let's go Roche when you finish this item. It's
Yeah.
like not a huge change to your personality or how you are. It's just like you got to take more responsibility.
I mean, as a core player, I feel like you will naturally take that
do it
responsibility
already,
after a
exactly.
certain point in
Wait,
the
he
game.
played with me for like a week or something. I remember him saying, "What the hell, man? Go back, man. What's happening, man? What the hell is this, man?"
Maybe you should have just played better, Lizard.
Yeah,
And
play better, you
I'm
won't
not
be a
saying
man.
that was aimed at me, but
Oh,
Oh, of course not.
sure. Way to get out of the situation.
okay. So what do we have here?
Oh, we
We
have
have the
heroes. Okay.
Phoenix and Centaur combination for Boom Esports. Not really the best way to protect the egg, but pretty solid in the meta. Meanwhile, T1 actually going with the Bristol,
Bristol
next.
into the Phoenix.
Yep.
Sunray is one of the best tools I always thought against Bristleback.
And now with the Sunray on the shard that you can get, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, with the slow as well.
Yeah, they're going for the combo, snowballing the Phoenix egg.
So it's about the circles and eggs and round shapes. Or
Yeah,
what?
let's get some Arc Warden in here. Let's get some Void Spirit in here.
Circles in Dota, I don't know if we spoke about this before, but the circles are broken. Upheaval is a huge circle, Disruptor circle,
Kinetic Field, yeah. Static Storm.
Wukong ring is a circle, everything is circle.
Clockwork used to be a square, but now it's a circle with the cogs.
They don't like squares.
Oh
Don't
wait,
like
so
squares.
this is carry or mid lane Bristleback then, right, for T1?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
isn't out of the ordinary.
They
we have
pick
seen
mid
it.
Bristol quite a lot.
It's not out of the ordinary, but usually it's enabled with an IO or a Coddle, and you
Yeah.
already have your support duo of the Lion and the Treant.
I mean, mid Bristol is pretty independent, I would say. It's probably different if it's a carry Bristol, because
Yeah,
you
that's
need
true.
like the levels and stacks and everything. But as a mid Bristol, you just buy bottle. Spam
You have
cool
so
spray.
many runes.
Yeah.
Should be fine.
I don't like this lineup against Phoenix at all, though. Gotta admit,
Who's the Egg Hitter? That's pretty much just Bristle.
Lion.
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
With the
they-
70 damage
Hey,
talent.
he got more
You can
attack speed
normal
than the
punch
average
it.
hero.
Can normal by make an illusion.
Illusion egg.
out of the egg.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, they don't damage eggs. They should.
Fun fact: you can Earth Spirit, Aghanims, enchant Remnant.
yes,
the egg.
the egg.
Didn't they fix that already?
Nope.
But the thing is, like, it depends when you use it. Sometimes the egg won't stun or won't deal damage.
Yeah. So basically,
There's-
whenever the enchant Remnant times out, it destroys the ward unit. So it works on other ward units. Oh wow! Actually, Boom take the IO. It destroys the ward units, which is why it's not a good idea to use on like Tombstone or Healing Ward, because after the enchant Remnant times out, the ward unit disappears. But against Supernova, if you just need to protect it,
Yeah, and by the way, Io, he's been banned out in almost every series so far that we've watched after being picked up. The patch happened. Teams experimented, thought, okay, we don't have to ban Io, and then got burned. Io still picked, played as a core, won a couple of games.
Now played as a core again.
Yeah, now it's core again, and you have the same lane, Tusk plus Io, and it's pretty strong. I'm not sure if you're T1 that you can deal with this later on in the game.
Isn't Io really good against Darkseid lanes too? Because you just heal. Just keep healing, out-sustaining.
I mean, it depends, right? Like how
is it gonna be?
What your position 5 is.
Treant Darkseid, right?
Yeah, it should be Trin Darkseer, and that's a pretty strong lane. You have
It is.
double iron shells
Double Iron Shell, 100 damage,
from the trees as well, a
Per
lot
hit,
of mobility.
Yep.
Yeah.
walking through the trees.
although if you're not near the trees, and I guess Tether doesn't destroy as many trees as it used to, but Treant's kind of slow. Usually we're seeing Darkseer paired up with like a Nyx Assassin, so you can walk around up to people with that Ion Shell.
This is an old school combo as well.
Yeah.
Leech Seed plus Iron Shell, it's very difficult to fight them. then you get some stuns from the line, some control later on in the game. I don't mind T1's draft. I'm just worried that Phoenix is unanswered and IO is unanswered, and Boom Esports also can counter the Bristle on the mid lane, right? They have the last pick.
This is, I think, a good Medusa draft for T1.
For T1.
Probably even for Boom too, if they want to go super greedy. Because Medusa destroys Bristle in lane.
That's what I thought. You mainly were looking for a Bristle lane counter. But for T1, you have an egg hitter, and Stone Gaze would be pretty effective this game.
Yeah. I think Dusa in general, like, it always kind of gets ignored until the last pick, and then it's just picked, and the enemy's like, oh, we lost.
And she's pretty strong right now.
She is.
The Aghanim's build is looking very, very solid.
Yeah.
We're not seeing her that often, only in these last pick scenarios in which a team has no other answer but to pick
Europe
the
likes it
Dusa.
a lot, I know. Like, they even first faced that hero. And it's hard to come up with an answer. Like, even a PL is not just a straight-up counter. It can go either way.
We haven't seen too many Lunas with the shard and the build that's completely rounded around that shard. I want to see that. I think there's some potential.
And we haven't seen a lot of Lunas do
Well,
work. Even. I don't even know why. Like, I always feel like the hero's so good, and then it's just not.
And it feels good. Like, that shard actually feels pretty damn solid.
Yeah, you also have 330 movement speed or something.
Just doesn't work, I guess.
Yeah.
Still.
Ember. So they're going all in pretty much with this aggressive style. Now I like Medusa even more.
Yeah.
They have no damage at all to take down Medusa, I feel like.
At December, pretty much, why are you picking it? You probably want him to get that vessel from the mid lane, right?
Sure. But Ember against Bristol is not easy for Ember.
That's
actually.
what I thought too.
Like, Bristol actually counters Ember. In lane, at least.
Yeah, why would they go for Ember over Void Spirit? Void Spirit's also still in the pool.
And it would be better even because you can turn the Ember.
Isn't Storm also in the pool? I feel Storm would
Storm's
be even
also
better.
in the pool, yeah. Maybe just a comfort thing for Makoto.
But the thing is,
No, he definitely plays a lot of Storm and Void Spirit.
IO Ember doesn't strike me as wow.
Yeah.
I think you have the Centaur later on for the IO combo, right? Like you're going to be playing with the Centaur, meanwhile Ember is the one just jumping in and out of fights.
But then isn't Overcharge kind of wasted? Because IO's the only person benefiting from
no,
it?
what you need is a hero that you can constantly be with in team fights. He doesn't have to be like a Monkey King that benefits a lot from the Overcharge. If you remember in the last patch, that Prophet was always
Sand
picked.
King.
Sand King.
There's a carry Bristol.
And mid-Sand
Mid-
King.
Sand
Sand
King.
King, yeah.
I don't know why these teams don't like winning conditions.
Yeah, because
Now the Radiant draft actually looks good.
Yeah, 'cause
Because they have no
late game
late game. Yeah.
on T1.
I guess Bristol should, in theory, still be the strongest late gamer. Like, he packs quite a punch with that talent level 25.
Oh, wait, 23-7? Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm not sure versus IO. And then you have Phoenix with
Yeah,
Sunray.
I gotta admit, the Sanking last pick didn't really.
He should win versus Ember.
But
though.
this Ember pick also.
I'm with you. I have question marks on both this 9th and 10th final picks on both teams.
Yeah.
Yep, Boom Esports, they did lose with the Beastmaster twice. I'm not sure, and I don't believe that they'll be able to lose with this IO draft. I think it's pretty solid. I'll be going with Boom. T1, they do have solid lanes. Darkseer plus Treant, very good. Iron Shell is going to be so massive this game. That's one big thing. I think the Aghanims on Cuckoo, you can Iron Shell the Bristleback yourself and the Sand King and just have this massive teamfight potential, which looks really solid. I still haven't seen IO lose though, so IO carry it is for me.
I am also going to go with Boom, but I think it's for me because there are 0 answers to Supernova. It's literally just Bristleback. No one hits the egg. You have Darkseer, and you have Sand King, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Bristol gets burned by Phoenix too, right? The
Yep.
max damage, max HP damage. I'm gonna go Boom too.
Okay. B-Cop, Lacoste, how about y'all? What you got about these 9th and 10th picks?
I gotta agree with you guys. Not really convinced by Sanking. I had a whole rant yesterday how this hero doesn't win any games,
Yep.
and they have no egg hitters as well, so it could be a bit problematic. By a bit, I mean a lot of problems.
Yeah, a lot of problems for sure. I'm not a fan of that mid Sand King, as I was saying yesterday. You know, it does its thing. It slaps its tail on the ground. It, shakes up the earth. Doesn't win games.
That was what Lacoste said. Was that what you said?
No, we were just discussing that. He also found a new way to cast games. You're going to hear it. You're not going to be
I
impressed.
can't wait.
Notch,
Well,
let me tell you.
then get me off the camera. Let's just go straight into game number 1, my friends.
All right, right into game number 1.
So, yeah, you were talking to me about this Tusk hero. What do you like about him? Like, what's the big deal?
Tusk, he's a walrus. He likes making snowballs. He's a big fan of Mike Tyson. He talks with an accent. That's always cool to Americans. We don't really, we like accents. It's always cool. But, snow, it's cool. We don't get that so much in some areas of the United States. So when we see snow, it's very exciting.
All right, time to stop. So, yeah, this lineup from T1, they don't have this super late game. They need to be able to put the pressure, play with the bristleback. This is the hero that can pop off. I think the reason why they decided to go for the Ember Spirit, because in this game, I wouldn't mind seeing Spirit Vessel on Ember. Against the Treant Protector heal, against the Bristleback, who's super tanky. Also, they have this Tusk, who's a walrus. He lives on Iceland. Now, it's just that tag team destroys any tanky heroes. Like, you might think you're tanky, but you're not tanky against the Tusk and plus 3 members of his team.
You may have bristles that come out of your back and a giant shell, and you've got an accent.
Seems like everyone in Dota has an accent.
We'll see how this goes, though. I'm really excited to see if Makoto can do something with this hero that has 2 swords.
Enough.
All right, I can't stop.
And is all fiery and comes from the fire realm. So Sanking should win this mid lane. We've seen that so many times. You put a lot of pressure with the Caustic Finale, you push the lane. But yeah, I don't think Ember Spirit should be too worried about this. Carl gets a deny. Stuns underneath the tower. You need to be careful. Like, you get the tower aggro. If you right-click him, tower will start hitting you. And then you could be in a bit of trouble. So his bottle will come up a bit faster on a mid lane for Sanking because he has a bit more pressure. Puts down the pressure with that Caustic.
Yeah, we see this every time we see a Sand King. They have Caustic, they win the lane, they have a lot of CS. And then it feels like...
And then they're just Burrow Strike and Epicenter. No matter what items you get, you just fall off so quickly.
Well, we've been seeing a lot of Blink Daggers and Boots of Travel, but we really haven't seen a lot of these mid Sand Kings mix it up. Go to like Ags instead of Blink Dagger, or go to something different instead of going mobility for the first 4,000
even this
gold.
game, they don't have that Spirit Vessel carrier, which I wouldn't mind also seeing on a Sand King this time around. You need to think outside of the box in certain games. I think this is the game for it. You're playing against the Io, you're playing against the Phoenix. You want to mitigate that healing coming out. So maybe that's the item. The overtime damage gives you a bit more kill potential. But still, Blink Dagger feels like, you need to have the item. They have a great combination. Like, they have Vacuum into Sanking Stun, into Impale, into Overgrowth. A lot of good stuff. I just want to see what the execution is going to look like.
Yeah, if they can execute well, it could really snowball out of control. But we say that a lot with Sand Kings, and I feel like I haven't been impressed by what I've seen. I don't know. I'm waiting for that big Sand King game. Maybe that'll change my mind a little bit, where we just see a Sand King go like 15-0-4, and just everything was off the back of that Blink Burrow Strike with the Epicenter.
Still waiting. Me too. I've seen Sanking win games when they win in 25 minutes and Sanking just completely pops off. But you also need to have an offlaner that actually scales, just in case something goes wrong. Bottom lane, a lot of trade. Both of these hero combinations love to take a fight every single time tag team is up. They will try to take a fight. They need to be a bit more careful once they hit level 3. On Darkseer plus Treant Protector. I want to see Treant Protector also putting another point in Leech Seed. There's so much value coming out from this. It's a lot of slow and a lot of heals. The heals actually double. They're going to go on Treant. Seems like he's really dead.
Yeah, Zephyr getting taken out for first blood. Dreamcell is going to get credit for that one. Turn to try and get Kizzcube, but that's not going to happen. Meanwhile, over top, 23 is going to get FBZ. So they get the offlaner in the top lane. All they do is take out the 4 position over bottom, but it is first blood. It seems like Centaur's really kind of struggling. I've been watching this lane, and he's not doing well with the Quills at the moment. Constantly having 4 or 5 stacks on him, getting pressured pretty heavily.
It's all good. It's Centaur. Once he gets that Vanguard, it's going to be much easier. Like, this is just too good of an item right now. Even though not a lot changed. Like, you get a bit more damage, and it costs 100 gold less. But sometimes it's all it's necessary. Also, I love the fact that Boom decided to put Tusk as a position 5 in this game, and also put him with Io, because he's a much better laner together with the Io.
Ooh, good 2-man stun. They'll get the kill on a hide. They're still going to look over for FBZ. 23 not dealing with a lot of health and mana, but he does have that stick. So he'll get that back. They'll drain the mana, soul up FBZ. Viscous Nasal Goo and the Quills really stacking up. They land the stun. They'll take out FBZ and grab both kills in that top lane. Nature's Grasp really hurts, especially with the Leech Seed and the Vacuum back. Kescute.
Oh,
one shot from dead, but he'll survive under the trees for now. He's still trying to get away from Zephyr, but he walks right into Cuckoo. This is really difficult for Kescute. I don't see him getting out of this, but somehow he survives with just a minuscule amount of health. And now, in the Nature's Grasp, Dreamcell, he's slowed up. Good shards, keeps him away from the Wisp, but Kescute back into the trees, juking around, but
Ion Shell will burn him down. Yeah, the overtime damage, they need to stay on top of them. Io is going to go pretty much for the same item build we always see on carry Io. Getting that Soul Ring, getting that Helm of the Dominator into Aghanim Scepter. So yeah, once they hit the level 3 on T1's offlane, 2 points in Ion Shell, 2 points in Leech Seed, they can stand and take a fight. But to go back to the talk, I like the way that they set up the lanes. Phoenix this time around will be position 4 because they understand it's a good Phoenix game. They have no real egg hitter, and if Phoenix gets items, like, it just might be very difficult to actually deal with them. They have decent way of protecting the egg with the chains, with the Centaur Stomp, and Tusk has multiple ways of stunning people.
Yeah, so as the game goes later and later, it could get more difficult for T1, so they're really going to have to break through with a bit of a lead here, which is normally what you do see with the Sand King lineup. You see Sand King do so well in lane, and he can move around and maybe give you that 4K, 5K lead by about the 15-minute mark.
T1 needs to stay ahead with this type of a lineup. Could already done on a Bristleback, so he's going to be very hard to bring down. Already off to a good start, 3-0. He's getting all the last hits from this lane, which is also very important. And we can see on the mid lane, like Sand King dominating. No surprise there. One of the reasons why they decided to pick it.
I guess just the question is, how hard is Sand King going to fall off? It feels like it's always off a cliff, but we'll see. I'm interested to see if Carl goes for Boots of Travel after the Blink Dagger, if he keeps it pretty standard. Does he want to go for something else?
I think Spirit Vessel is a great idea this time around. The Phoenix heal, the Io heals, just something that is great. They don't have way of dispelling it, so that's also a very good thing. Because other heroes like Lion does not want to build it. Treant Protector also not the hero that wants to buy it.
Whitemon's here bottom, but they haven't really made the biggest of moves here in this bottom lane. Dreamcell just in the jungle right now, trying to get to that level 6. Soaring Wand and Ags all queued up for him. Maybe they can make a move. Some Spirits hitting on a Cuckoo. They look over at Zephyr. The damage with the tag team doing quite a bit, but they've got the vacuum in the Ion Shell. Snowball to stay alive, and Kescute will walk away as he just walks out of the Nature's Grasp.
Once they brought that Centaur, the extra unit that deals damage, that procs the tag team, it's enough. Like, if they don't have that Centaur, if they don't have Helm of the Dominator, Tusk is dead, they get a kill. So they need to be a bit more careful. Cuckoo, I've seen this build on the Dark Series, double null, sometimes even triple null, which he decided to go for this time around. Hex
And setting up the epicenter, looking for the Burrow Strike. It's actually out onto the Phoenix, not the Ember Spirit. They'll get the kill on a hide. So they go after Whitemon and they lose one for it. That's the first epicenter used in this game. So Carl gets something out of it. He's still sitting second on the net worth, and you know he's got a pretty free lane. He's sitting second on the net worth. That just shows how well the game 23's having.
23 having a really good time. They need to bring Tusk, Centaur plus a Phoenix to be able to kill him, even though he's sitting at half HP, used the shovel once, and now has a possessed mask, so even more strength coming out from it.
Go over with the snowball, burrow strike, but Carl not looking like he's going to survive despite the fact that the stun was landed by Whitemon. Kezcute gets credit for the kill on a Carl. That'll slow down the Blink Dagger, which he was very close to.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Doing a lot of damage here with 23 and FPZ. He gets chased for a moment. They've got the Phoenix right here, so we'll see. Does 23 really want to commit and how far under the tier 1 tower might not be advised.
He's not as tanky as he thinks. You know, it's a level 2 Bristleback. It's not a Vanguard, it's Hood, so you don't have that damage block from the towers. Needs to be a bit more careful. And let's see. Yeah, they killed the Observer Board. There is a smoke on Tusk. Level 3 tag team. It's more than enough to kill the Bristleback. So yeah, I forgot that they have Phoenix, because I talked about Ember Spirit being able to build a Spirit Vessel if they see it from time to time. You know, sometimes even Void Spirits, but yeah, they have position for Phoenix, so it's going to be his job to get that Spirit Vessel.
Now he's going to try and get that Spirit Vessel. He's been doing a good job of putting out some stacks. There's the Blink Dagger now for Carl. So they're going to move up towards top, but they don't know that Boom's coming up here. They're smoked up. Like you said, tag team level 3 should be enough to get the kill here on a 23, especially now he's sitting under half health under the tower. They're going to wait for him to come. They've got the Stampede. They're going to
plus
use
reload.
the relocate to try and get over here. The TP reactions from T1 just aren't going to be in time. Cuckoo's now up in this lane, and that might be a bit of a problem. Zephyr here with Whitemon. Can they turn this to get anything themselves? Epicenter, Burrow Strike.
But the reload, 1 second.
Oh, Makoto gone. But Dream of Cell just survives. That was almost both of them. They've got the Hex, and they should be able to get the damage out onto Kezcute with a Burrow Strike available. They find him within the trees. Yes, they can. And now they've got the finger. So Kezcute, he'll fall 2 dead on the side of Boom. And all they get is 23.
So yeah, they trade 2 heroes. If they manage to get the Wisp, that would be pretty big. They need to start putting a lot more pressure with the Bristleback. You know, he's the hero that can snowball. He can play in your face. I also want to see Treant Protector putting a point in the Living Armor. Like that one... If he had that 1 point, let's say level 5, he would use it on his Bristleback, potentially save him there. He would have more HP. Maybe they wouldn't go for that kill. It's something that can make the difference.
And it was so close to getting both the Ember and the IO at the same time. That would have been pretty devastating.
Yeah, you don't have to blow in your microphone just because you get excited about getting a double kill, but it's okay.
Gotta control my breathing, I'm sorry. Get very excited.
Yeah. Kezcute getting caught.
There's Spike, Burrow Strike, they've got the control, and they get the kill on the Kezcute. And on top of that, they have found these stacks. They're gonna try and steal them.
Now they're gonna steal them.
It's not really a try, it's a is. Or are. They're still.
Nothing they can do about it. Like, they know they're there. Let's see if they can try to get a pick off. Phoenix is level 7, 3 points in the Sunray.
Strike on the Ember Slight. He's trying to survive. They've used the Stampede. They're trying to steal the stacks, and they might pay for it. They end up losing Cuckoo. This Supernova.
It's super Supernova.
Zephyr, Whitemon, 3 dead on the side of T1. Hyde with the double kill.
Like, this is a fight that T1 can't afford to lose. Their lineup does not have a late game. Also, like, making illusion of IO is not that great compared to some like Agi carry heroes. Bristleback, he will fall off, especially if they keep diving like that. I love the build on Phoenix this time around. You know, he's not maxing out the Fiery Spirits. He has 3 points in the Sunray, just wants to melt this Bristleback and not allow him to be as tanky.
And, you know, Hyde's playing that hero. That's a Phoenix that gets reborn. Helps with the Sunray. Oh, but yeah, I like the build here from from Hyde, especially because he's been taking a lot of pressure. He's really utilized himself.
And it was a great
Perfectly.
supernova. Like
The spot was perfect.
Radiant's middle
It
tower is
honestly
under
just...
attack.
I think he wanted to go like on the hill, on the high ground, but didn't happen. Still a good place to place it. They have way of
Radiant's middle
locking
tower
them
is under
down if
attack.
they try to go. Not a single
Radiant
hero
structure-
be able to deal with the egg.
Yeah. So you do have a large room for error, I think. There are some games where you have to be like
Dire's
pinpoint
top tower is
perfect
under
with where you're
attack.
putting the supernova. Here, I think Hyde can kind of get away with a little bit more. But when they're in those kind of spots that are impossible to hit,
Radiant's
the fight's
middle
won
tower
almost
is
right there.
under
Yeah,
attack.
same goes for Tombstone. If they don't have any vision, if you have something to lock them
Dire's
down,
top tower
you know
is
the
under
team
attack.
fight's
Dire's
already
top tower
over.
has
You know, if you
fallen.
place a sentry, if you place a Tombstone, you're like, yeah, this fight's pretty much over. They have no way of revealing it. And we can see T1, you know, trying to go for a bit more aggression, trying to find the kills right now. They understand this mid-sinking with a Blink Dagger. He wants to fight.
Radiant's
and it's still not that easy for them.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They're trying to
Radiant's
control
courier has been
the triangle here, but really going to be difficult to go after FBZ. Viscous Nasal Goo being spit on or snorted onto the Centaur. Sunray thinking about the epicenter, but now the Earth Spike comes through on a Kezcute. They've got the wall down, look for the finger. They'll get the kill on a Kezcute, and
This
the
is the
Supernova
egg.
again. That's where he wanted it the last time. It's just a question of whether or not they can keep him close, and they really couldn't keep T1 too close. He goes forward with the Sunray, and he's just going to give up his life afterwards. Bit surprising there from Hyde, because now they've caught Makoto. He'll slice, but he's not going to make it out of this.
Supernova, 10 out of 10. Sunray, 0.5 out of 10. No, he just kept going. I guess when Bristleback, when he already used the dive, he was out of the position, understands that he can't TP with all those stuns, so he just kept going.
A bit sloppy there from Boom. The idea was right, but the execution wasn't. That's a big problem. We watch it as the fight happens once again. Makoto over to the side, or Spike lands on a Kezcute.
They need Centaur in this fight. They need Centaur to be able to stun people, but he's already sitting at half HP just to be able to control them while Supernova is dealing damage. Boom's lineup is very good at going in and out, resetting with Io's heal, with the snowball saves, Stampede, Sunray. So they need to get in and out, while T1's lineup is, you know, we're going to go in, we're going to use our combo, burst people down with the finger, and they want a quick in and out. But I want to see if they are going to be able to do it.
Yeah, a little bit lacking
Radiant
so far.
structures are fortified.
Boom, though, it still feels like they're comfortable, even though that fight didn't go too well for them. Like, you're picking up the Ags on the IO.
Radiant's bottom tower has
You
fallen.
should feel comfortable getting these fights when you have Supernova. And I wonder how they're going to try and approach this next one coming in as they're trying to take the tier 1 over mid. So all committed. Icarus dive away, 23, front lining. Maybe trying to get a burrow strike from Carl. That's exactly what he'll get. Two heroes hit with that stuff, but the Sunray, now the Walrus Punch. 23 might be in a little bit too far. Side of Fist, Searing Chains, these heroes low, another two-man stun. Hyde killed off.
Buyback.
FBZ, he's getting low, and Hyde's forced to buy back. He'll chase all the way through the triangle to get the kill on FBZ. T1, the rest of the team is leaving. With that buyback from Hyde and not getting anything from it,
Everyone
It
is
feels
super
really bad.
low on T1. Like, they bought back, Phoenix didn't manage to get the egg off, they didn't have mana, had some Magic Wand charges, but yeah, got bursted down. Surprised Boom wants to play aggressive right now. They're really not in a rush. All they need to do is protect the Roshan, not necessarily engage into a team fight. Like, get that Blink Dagger on a Centaur. Also a bit surprised he decided to finish off the phase boots. Casual chainmail is fine to be able to tank up some more damage from the Coil Spray and the Viscous Nasal Goo. They have a lot of minus armor coming out from that, but yeah, they need someone to initiate, so he needs to farm for another 2-3 minutes to be able to have a Blink Dagger. Epi.
so they can do with the epicenter on the Kezcute. He's in the Nature's Grasp. He'll snowball to extend the inevitable, in which case is death. He's in the Sandstorm, and he just doesn't get away with the
Yeah.
leeches he placed on him, too. So Blink Dagger now for Zephyr, which sets up Blink Overgrowth. I'm interested to see how they can utilize that. The lockdown for T1 is certainly not lacking.
Vacuum is going to be much easier to execute. Now they have another way of comboing it. Vac into Overgrowth, keep them in the place. Like, it's all about these small things. Like, Tusk had 10 Magic Wand charges there when he was dying. Did not want to pop it. Understands, I'm in position 5. I'm dead. He sees a Lion. No point of using it, so he's just going to keep it for the next fight.
4K lead, and this is where we said T1 had to be. Kind of feel competitive further on in the game.
Radiant are scanning.
So Sanj in the BKB here for IO. Dreamcell will try to farm into that as quickly as he can. He's top of the net worth for his team.
Casual Sanj is just one of the best items in the current meta. Besides Solar Crest, like, these are pretty much the two best items because it gives you so much. Like, for the strength heroes, gives you damage, gives you status resistance, heal, amplification.
TP back to base
Dire's
there
middle tower has been
for Hyde.
denied.
Carl still sitting
Dire's
mid.
top tower
He's gone
is under attack.
the typical build we've seen from these Sand Kings. Blink Dagger, Boots of Travel.
And then a
Yules.
defensive item, either a Yule Scepter or a BKB. Now going into Aghanim Scepter. I know you like that one.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Ags. I think, especially yesterday, we saw Yules into BKB for the Sand King, so it never really felt like
Dire's bottom tower is
there was
under
anything
attack.
more we were going to see from the Sand King in that game yesterday. But now that he's going Ags, I definitely like that a little bit more. Almost lands the Burrow Strike on FBZ. He was searching inside the trees.
Dire are scanning.
DD on Bristle, they don't have enough. I don't think they take this fight. Let's see if they decide to do so. First Aegis doesn't really matter that much. I think they have the tools to deal with the rest of the team, and they can leave Bristleback for the later stages, because he's going to be the one picking it up. You do not want to give Aegis to Sand King. It doesn't make much sense. They're scouting things out.
This Roche is sitting pretty low. Epicenter getting charged up for a second, thinking about it. Carl has the ability to stop that. So now let's see if Boom can try and defend against this Roche. Roche trying to help out. First hit bash on the 23. Sitting with just about 1,000 health. Carl keeps slamming the first tail down, thinking about going in with the Epicenter, but Boom is pretty split up. I think their focus needs to be on probably Hyde. If he gets a good Supernova off, that could be a very big difference maker. There it is. Icarus dive into the Supernova. They go after 23. The Aegis is going to be picked up by Makoto. They get the kill on a 23. They look over the rest.
This
The
is a
Supernova
good
pops,
fight.
and they get the kill there on a Cuckoo as well as Carl. Overgrowth just not in time.
Boom has
White
this
on
one.
gun, and Zephyr, he's going to get chased. He's going to get killed, and it'll eventually be a full team wipe here for Boom. They were waiting for their moment, and they found it.
It was just a Mexican standoff, like both of these teams waiting, see who's gonna get the first move, and Boom, they decide to go for a big move. They go in, they're like, we're gonna use this Supernova, which was level 1 at that time, and try to zone him out while we're killing the Roshan. So Mikoto picks up the Aegis, now working towards his BKB, Maelstrom already done.
You see Makoto's picture, he's just like, I got it. Don't worry. But yeah, Supernova started off Snowball, everything on a 23. And the Epicenter just feels a little bit too late. Carl gets stunned as he Burrow strikes in, and then the Supernova goes off, they clean up.
Yeah, they don't kill Supernova, especially now that it's level 2. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Possibly if it's just in a really bad spot. If you get caught in Icarus dive, possibly with a stun or Overgrowth. Centaur going towards, working towards his next item after finishing the Blink Dagger, which seems to be the Lotus Orb. So great against all those stuns. Like you can pretty much win a fight with one reflected impale, one reflected burrow strike.
They look like they want to go here on T1. They'll find Kescue. Okay.
That's a position 5 Tusk only. Like usually Tusk is played as 4, so not too much of a value lost there. He's also getting closer to his Blink Dagger. Right now just keeping the buyback. One item we didn't talk about is the Darkseer Aghanim Scepter, which gives you 2 charges on the Ion Shell. And yeah, gives a bit HP. It's a good item on the Darkseer. Most of the Darkseers actually rush it. Makes the team a bit more tanky. But this is the time for T1 to strike. Even though they know that Boom got the Aegis on their side, they should still try to seek for a fight, because their lineup is just going to fall off.
Right.
Radiant are scared.
So if they can keep the pressure on, maybe get the Aegis out of their hands and take a winning fight,
Dire's bottom
still have a
tower
chance
is
to
under
win this game. And I know I'm saying still have a chance to win this game, and it's a 1K lead, but we are breaking down what we are seeing as we're going to find Kescue in much with these heroes that are going to fall off pretty bad. And they're going to go. They got the kill on a Whitemon. Supernova down again. 23's getting chased. They'll look over at Cuckoo. They get the kill on the Darkseer. They look over at this Bristle. Try to finish him, try to catch him. Swipe was there onto this Bristle. He's got the Searing Chains in a second, so they won't be able to keep up.
T1 just doesn't have the game plan, I would say. Their plan right now is we group around the towers and force them into a fight, because we know we'll lose this game in the late game.
Yeah, they understand the dynamics of this game. Understanding where their timings have to be. And you can see, because they're still putting the pressure on. I think some teams...
By pressure, if you mean losing multiple heroes, yeah,
They were
correct.
looking
That's
at
a lot of
Kescue
pressure.
trying to
IO
fight.
bottom, Finger, not available.
They've got the Hex. Do they have the lockdown? Trying to drain the mana. BKB, TP,
Just
Dream
DP
Ascent.
out.
He's gone.
If they had a Finger, it's definitely a kill.
Yeah.
Also, the status resistance coming out from Sanj really helps out.
Slight Searing Chains. Stun on it too, but they've got the Snowball as well as the Walrus Punch. They'll look over at Whitemon. The shards are off the mark, but it's not going to matter. They've got the damage. They'll give the kill. Carl just getting ignored for a second. Burrow Strike, Overgrowth, and it's on a 3. They're going to try and make this happen. They'll go after Hyde, who doesn't have the Supernova. Got the kill on the Phoenix. They look over at Carl.
Oh, good Burrow.
Stun coming through. Carl, he'll die, but that lets them get Kescue as well. However, they're going to lose 23, and just the numbers that T1 are losing are putting them out of this game quicker and quicker.
Boom, they lose 2 supports. They win another big team fight. Treant Protector is the only survivor of that one. It's just, I'm really worried about their damage output. Phoenix, in that fight, didn't have a single spell, pretty much. Now that he gets a BKB, it's going to be much easier for him to take the fight. I've seen Phoenix like rush in a BKB when they're playing into Nyx Assassin most of the time, something that's really popular in China. Seen it in a couple of games of Southeast Asia.
Right.
I think it's the same thing in here, you know. There's a lot of stuff that can interrupt the Sunray, and this is where the most damage is going to come from.
So Phoenix might feel untouchable. I think the team might feel untouchable, and I don't know what T1 can do at this point. There are some things that like they're still doing right. Like this lockdown, it feels good from them, but they just don't have anything to follow it up. They're not taking out these heroes. They're getting the lockdown. They're hitting these 4-man stuns, and it's still not enough to win these engagements. They've put the pressure on, but the pressure doesn't feel as heavy anymore.
Yeah, the pressure is just not there. It's not enough damage. Like Bristleback, he kind of lost his momentum. Even though like he was having a good time, Carl.
Dream Ascent, getting that stun with the Centaur, stopping that TP. They're gonna go for Whitemon. They're gonna relocate bottom. Well, okay.
No need for that. It was still, you know, a kill. And it's one of those games that could potentially just end with no real fun. You know, they lose 2-3 heroes. They call the GG. They understand, like, we can't really fight them anymore. We had our momentum, which we needed to, like, we needed to hit the timing 15-20 minutes in. Take that Roshan. Siege with the Bristleback. Just didn't happen.
Is under attack.
Yeah, maybe that last fight comes around Roche. Still a little ways out.
Seems like I was not wrong about the sanking. This hero, you stay 1k gold lead ahead of the enemy mid laner because you push the wave. You're giving the also farm to the Ember Spirit, to the enemy mid laner. You farm the jungle in the meantime, but that's it. You're still going to be Burrow Strike. You're still going to be on the epicenter. This is the hero that does not scale.
Would you rather see Ags before
Anything.
Eagles?
No, I would rather see anything other than the sanking on a mid lane.
The leader of the club of hate for Sanking as Whitemon drops. You've been elected.
Thank you. I deserve it.
Sanking mid, no longer president.
FP? That's a fool, FP.
Yeah, epicenter, Burrow Strike with the wall down. They're trying to get something out of this. They'll use the Stampede. They'll probably lose FBZ, so that's going to be one dead on the side of Boom. Side of a Searing Chains that lands on both Carl as well as Cuckoo. And Cuckoo, he's going to get run down with BKB being popped by Makoto. There's no way to stop him. They finish
Look
off
at this
high,
attack
but
speed.
The damage on to 23 forces him all the way back into the base. He's trying to get there. Unfortunately, he won't get there. Walrus Punch in from Kescute finishes off the Bristle, who will buy back and he'll get a 5 for his buyback. Actually, Zephyr will.
They're still chasing. Io needs to pop the BKB.
23.
Basher on 23, so you can't just TP out. Good chains to lock him down. Lincoln Sphere, I love this item build on Makoto this time around. You know, Orb of Corrosion, just cheap damage, applies slow, applies minus armor with the Sleight of Fist. Lincoln Sphere to reduce the initial jump. Like, gives you that, like, split second that you can react to the BKB possibly. And, like, Maelstrom, this is the farming item. He's tethered with the IO, so, like, damage coming out from the Maelstrom is also amplified from the overcharge.
Jeez. Just so much damage coming out from Makoto as well as Dreamcell. Makoto getting close to that level 25. Holding on to a double damage at the moment. Roche is up. I think this is what is going to feel like T1's last stand if they try to defend this Roche attempt.
This second Roche, so Cheese Ages plus a Shard.
Wonder who will be given the Shard. Maybe Phoenix?
Could be Phoenix. Ember Spirit Shard is also not bad. You know, Fire Remnant deals AoE damage, and you get the charge if you are close to the kill.
So in a Roche they go. T1 not even going to show up. They'll concede it.
Io Shard is also not bad. Like tether stuns for almost 2 seconds, 1.75. But can be only applied every 7 seconds, and a bit more movement speed, 10%. So yeah, they gave it to Io.
Okay. And my boy Hyde out here trying to do what he can with his supernovas. Could have had Sunray with it, I feel like.
Back in the old days,
Deserving.
Io, like he just stunned people with the tether. I believe it was TI2, TI3 era. Not broken at all, perfectly fine. Just have this AoE stun ability.
Sleight of Fist Searing Chains, Cuckoo. Getting healed.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So they'll go after the tier 2, then onto the high ground. Don't think there's much that T1 can do to stop them from getting the tier 2. We'll see if they can even stop the high ground push.
T1 in this game only managed to take the T1 towers. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It didn't go for tier 2s at all.
Let's see as they try to defend this, make their final stand. Burrow Strike comes in as well as the wall for the Remnant, but we're going after Cuckoo. They've got
Sunray keeping them alive.
And now the Sunray is just keeping them healed and burning through 23. Kescute on the run. He might be the only one who falls, but they've got the Stampede into the Overgrowth. Okay. Burrow Strike onto 2. They get the kill to Kescute. Supernova's a little bit far back, so that'll allow T1 to just walk away. It won't allow Carl to walk away, though. He's stunned up. He's killed off. He doesn't have buyback depth for 70 seconds.
He bought that Aghanim Scepter, went all in, no buyback money. Like, they need his stun. So without a sanking, without their ultis, they cannot take this fight.
Vacuum. All right. And stun bouncing off the Lotus Orb. Whitemon gone. Makoto going for Cuckoo. He'll surge back into the base. 23 just trying to stay in the faces of Boom. But it's not looking likely that they can do so. I mean, he's taking a
they're
lot
diving
of damage
towers.
in Sochi, but they're diving, yeah. They got the kill on FBZ. They've taken out KezQ. That's just out of the hands of the Ember, so it's starting to turn around here for T1. They don't have many numbers to keep throwing to get these kills.
Oh, they're throwing. They're throwing their bodies at tier 4 towers for no reason. There's no need to do that, but yeah, a bit of fun. Now FBC decided to buy back as well.
So they move up towards top, go for the tier 3. Spirits just hitting on to 23 as he tries to stick in their face. FBZ with Blink as well as the stun out onto Zephyr. Zephyr will drop very quickly and buy back. But they've got the Sun Ray right on top of Cuckoo. Burrow Strike with the epicenter. It's not going to be enough. Just aren't outputting the damage that they need with 23 popping the BKB. Running after this team. Eventually it'll run out and he'll be out of time. Question is, do Boom take
Mikoto's
advantage
back
and turn
in.
it around? And they should. Zephyr getting chased by Makoto. Overgrowth comes in. Zephyr dies. 23 might be next. Burrow Strike not going to do anything. Cuckoo dead again. He's got no buyback. Icarus dive over 23 with the Spirits hitting Sunray on him. And eventually he burns out. They will call GG and T1 will drop the first game.
What a performance from Boom. Like, they had a much better draft than this one. T1 did not kill Egg a single time. They managed to kill Phoenix in this game, but it was such a good Phoenix game that they were not able to even get it once. Just, yeah, they got outdrafted. I can understand the idea behind what they wanted to do. We play fast, we get this Bristleback online, we try to snowball, get the first Roshan, and then siege the high ground. I don't want to see mid-sec. I really do not want to see this hero being played on a mid
game.
On a mid anymore. Yeah, the hero just doesn't do anything other than the Burrow Strike and Epi.
Yeah, and then he, gets all these items, but it doesn't turn into anything more than, just a couple Burrow Strikes. It really doesn't look good. Hopefully that's the last mid-sanking game we have to see, but I doubt that. I think more teams are going to continue to pick it until something changes, but
Probably.
who knows? But to break down game number 1, we've got the panel for you. Throwing it over to you guys.
What will it take for people's outlook on that hero to change? I'm not sure, but one thing is for certain, Carry IO is still quite good if you can manage to get your hands on it. Lizard Black, how did it manage to make it its way to second phase, though? That's what troubles me. Dreamacell had it in his pocket the whole
Wait,
time.
I'll let you talk about IO. I gotta address the Sanking real quick.
Okay.
My boy's getting a lot of hate.
They
I've been playing a lot in this patch. Okay, I just wanna.
Okay, let's hear
I
it.
just wanna say,
Tell me.
when people start itemizing correctly, you will see the true power of the hero.
What's the itemization?
You wanna go in and deal constant damage because okay, what happens every fight is they blink in and they die, right? Because they have no survivability items. You build blink BKB. Aghanim Scepter or Shiva's Guard after, you just blink in, you're a nuisance, you slow everybody down, deal a lot of AoE damage.
So no BOTs, no Yules.
It just doesn't give you any tankability.
I'm with you.
100%.
I hate that, and I don't know why everyone's doing it. It doesn't work.
And if you
do a
think,
good build.
if you think about the Sand Kings that have worked in the past, it wasn't this big boots of travel from the offlane. I mean, it was usually an item that helps your team fight.
Some Lotus, some Crimson.
Some Crimson or some pipe, depending on what game.
They all have tankability in common.
You need tankability.
Yeah.
But if you're mid, you need the BKB, because you will be focused down. So
Okay, enough from that. Now you can talk about
now, how do you get your hands on the IO? Let me take you to a story, to a journey, Tsunami, of the meta.
Okay.
It's the story of the meta.
no country, no kingdom, nothing.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Davion, there was this meta in which
Dota or
Dota o Ako. You had some heroes that were very popular. Let's call them the 11 Knights.
Okay.
11 Knights were very popular. Everyone was pretty much cheering for them, but once in a while there were too many knights to cheer for, and then you forget about the first few.
The founders.
The founders.
Oh, it's a Lancelot.
Exactly.
Exactly.
How can you forget about Lancelot?
Yeah, how? That is a joke. Everyone always talks about Arthur, Beastmaster, but
I think
no
it's
IO.
because some other teams, they made Lancelot become like the stable boy. They turned him into a support. I see a Fnatic, they're like, oh, Raven,
For what?
we don't want to make you play
He's
IO.
not that
Ridiculous.
nerfed. He's not that old.
Preposterous.
He's not
Yeah.
that old. He's still
He's
still
in the
got
prime
it.
of his life.
Look what
he's in the
happened to
prime.
Arthur. They gave him all the X's.
Yeah, I don't know why IO carry is being ignored. I think part of it is because support seems to be making a resurgence, but the core variant is still very, very strong. This draft especially that T1 brought against it didn't really have an answer to it, because Bristleback likes long fights, sure, but IO likes long fights even more than Bristleback does. We saw that Roche attempt by T1. Bristleback was going in and out of the pit for like a minute, and he was like, I don't know what to do. I keep getting hit by these spirits, and I can't take Roche, and they were just paralyzed.
So where this game breaks down, really, what is the main point that wins for Boom? It's the
Phoenix
fact that Phoenix, you don't have a way of hitting the egg, and you do have ways of playing against it, which are bait them into using the egg and bail. Just disengage with whatever you can.
But
Just
listen,
run away.
what about the Sunray? Why does no one have a vessel on T1 to deal with Sunray?
What do you mean?
Well,
you mean for
so
about
the
the
egg
heal?
is great,
You mean,
but
you mean
yeah,
about
the
the
Sunray
heals?
heal, I think,
It's
was even more important in the late game.
Yeah, it's even more about the damage really that it deals, right?
Yeah,
when,
also
you- when
true,
you
for
have
sure.
these tanky heroes, so you just get the BKBs against that. Maybe you could have gotten a vessel
Are
for
you
sure.
saying
You're
5% max health per second is strong?
what? I said that.
Wow.
Hot
What is
take.
that?
But so
Sun hot
it,
take.
it still does take some skill to execute the Boom lineup properly, and what
It
they
does.
did is they forced T1 to play around objectives. When you have this hero such as Phoenix, and you don't have a way of forcing a fight, you just go into the pit, and if they want to run away, okay, we get Rosh. And if you don't run away, you lose the team fight because you have to fight into the egg. So really well played by Boom in either case, but the draft was really on point.
And the IO was really on point, so let's give the MVP to Dreamacell for showing us that this hero is still very, very relevant in core hands. 0.79 kill participation.
No, he did pretty much everything that he had to do. Laned pretty well against Darkseid. Did he die a single time? I
Nope,
don't think
zero
so.
deaths.
Yep, of course, as expected.
But how about that lane though, Lizard? You were a big fan of Treant Protector Darkseer.
I showed you the video. Yeah,
You did show me. Be sure to hit up facebook.com/lizard. What is it? Lizard Dota 2?
Dota 2, yeah.
Where you can see that this man was pioneering playing both heroes at the same time in 2016, 17?
16,
It was an old clip.
17, yeah.
Wait,
I
He was
used
playing
to
Darkseer, Treant Protector, and microing both heroes.
I used to I used to play two heroes at the same time, like just for fun, on like 5k, 6k MMR, and it's not easy. But if you have a lane such as Darkseer and Treant, you can win it very easily. There's a clip of like a triple kill.
But still needs an answer to the supernova at the end, which is truly what ignited the passion of Boom. And something that may be in T1's hands, they also need some encouragement. And so I referenced earlier that Whitemon is quite the karaoke expert. So I'd like to play you a clip of Whitemon's Ignition in Tagalog.
Kantutan na ignition kahit anong klaseng position kaya ikaw ay tumihaya paupo o padaba ilabas nyo na puki nyo ito ng burat ko lumuot sa aking harapan susuhin nyo titik ko kantutan na ignition kahit anong klaseng position kaya ikaw ay tumihaya paupo o padaba ilabas nyo na puki nyo ito ng burat ko lumuot sa aking harapan susuhin nyo titik ko kantutan na ignition kahit anong klaseng position kaya ikaw ay tumihaya paupo o padaba ilabas nyo na puki nyo ito ng burat ko lumuot sa akin harapan susuhin nyo titik ko.
change of range.
It's the remix to Game 1, hot and fresh out the kitchen. We got Game 2 of Boom versus T1 coming up soon, but I hope you all enjoyed those sweet, sweet sounds of Whitemon. Like you said, he's quite the vocalist, Black, and I think he proved it right there. I still don't know what the context was. It said in the YouTube description he was challenged by Cuckoo. I don't know what the challenge was for, but...
To do it all in one breath?
That's what it sounded like, because he was out of breath at the end. He was like... Probably because he wasn't sitting in a secret lab chair. If he had that top quality comfort, he wouldn't have been out of breath.
It helps with breathing too.
Of course.
Yeah.
The
It's a
signature
pause.
plush
It's a
feel.
pause.
Exactly.
Like I could even turn into a dumbbell once when I needed it.
Into a dumbbell.
Yeah, I was like,
So we were
chair,
looking
I
at
some
need to lift
curling?
weights, and it suddenly turned into a massive dumbbell.
Ah.
Mm.
For me, it turned into a bench, and
Oh.
it had dumbbells as well.
Okay,
And
yeah.
the armrests were actually like the security bars, you know, that you
Yeah, of course.
can put it back on.
The
Yeah.
chair is amazing.
It's a transformer. You just have to treat it properly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
believe in it.
Yeah,
Believe in the
Engage it.
heart of the cards.
Do you believe in T1?
Hard to believe in too.
I'm with you, man.
After this game 1 especially, it did not look good. Draft did not look good. Gameplay looked decent sometimes,
Yeah, at the beginning.
but then mid game was pretty rough around the edges.
The plan was we were going to crush them in the mid lane, mid game with 3 Iron Shells and Diagonals and Darkseer. But
Yeah, with the triple null talisman build on Darkseer.
yeah, but that just never comes. I mean, it's nice to experiment, but it's so much easier when you to play when you have an actual win condition tried and tested, such as the IO. Like so many times before, banned every single game almost of the major, and banned for a reason.
And now it's banned again.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, Tsunami,
What's up?
Lizard. How many IOs does it take?
Screwing a light bulb?
Do you remember the joke?
No, wait. Oh, I was just making something up. No.
Okay, yes, that's one.
How many IOs does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Yeah. And you have to answer too.
There's usually like a
Think
traditional
about it.
setup, like 1, and the
Alright,
the gyro screws it in for you or
Alright, that's
something.
wrong.
Oh, okay.
your turn.
IO is the light bulb.
No, it doesn't matter because they have no hands. They can't screw it in.
Game number 2, IO is banned out, Puck is banned out as well.
Yeah. We're going to probably see a Beastmaster here by either who has the first pick? Wait.
T1 has the first pick.
Okay, T1.
So Boom better ban
Boom.
the Beastmaster.
They
The-
banned Puck and Beast.
So here we have to see if Boom wants to play game 3 or or not. If they ban out the
More
Beastmaster,
practice.
yeah. If they ban out the Beastmaster, they probably want to win the second game. If they don't ban it out, we might see something that's not really Dota.
Unless if it's the disrespect play where they're like, you can't even beat us even if you had Beastmaster.
Or you just pick anti-mage against it.
Have we seen that as an answer yet?
No.
Because it's not a good one.
It's a decent one.
It's not a decent
It's just
one.
ban it.
Hey.
That's the best way to go about it. T1.
Centaur again.
This time T1 grabs.
Phoenix is banned though.
Ooh, FBZ Timbersaw.
They like this answer to the Centaur. Well, I say answer. They like the hero against Timbersaw.
Yeah, it's a comfort thing for FBZ, and then it's just
Can't Centaur Timber go like both ways though? If the Centaur is really fat, the double edge is quite a bit of damage.
In the lane, it can, right? Like at some point you can.
I think
you
even
can
in
kill
mid
him.
game,
Yeah.
like 3 double edges. What's the cooldown? 4 seconds?
yeah. But this, I mean, Timbersaw doesn't need to get a Vanguard, so he can just get Hood first.
Sure,
Unlike
sure,
all
sure.
the other offlaners who are like, I gotta get this Vanguard.
I'm just saying, like Centaur actually has potential to deal a lot of damage.
Oh, this is actually a hero that
Need
I
more magic damage.
in the Chinese region and the SCA we don't see a lot, but in
Why not?
Europe it's picked. They just didn't catch on to the hero, I believe.
It's really strong. It goes
Yeah.
buffed so much.
I think Lina right now in position 4 just dominates the lane hard. It used to do that. It was pretty much the same.
Like 3 months ago,
Yeah,
before it was buffed. Yeah.
Before it was buffed, it used to do the same thing. It just wasn't picked that much because you had Shadow Shamans and Lions that were much, much stronger.
I think it got buffed 3 times since then. Like the damage on the stun, the radius on the stun, the mana cost on the stun,
Fiery Soul, which is more geared towards core Lina.
No,
but
actually
good on both.
the passive is actually pretty good for a support in the lane.
Yeah.
You
At
just
level 2, you just out-trade anyone.
exactly. You
because
don't-
that was the skill build, is people would take 1 point LSA and then 2nd point Fiery Soul, and they
Exactly.
would just trade like
Yeah,
crazy.
and then 3 points Dragon Slave. And it's kind of just how to play in mid, except you have like an offlaner plus a laner. Like Centaur, Lina, you get 1 stomp on.
You're dead.
can die
pretty
very
much,
easily.
yeah. They banned out the Life Stealer. They don't want to play against that as it's pretty much the best hero at the moment versus the Centaur. There are some other ones like Monkey and Ursa and whatnot, but I don't think they're nearly as strong. We'll
I mean,
see.
Monkey fell out of favor completely.
Yeah, and
ever
yet we're
since-
continuously seeing Monkey bans and not Ursa bans, which is weird, because I thought that Monkey completely fell off because his Aghanim Scepter is just no longer as good as it once was. But Ursa's keep slipping through.
That's actually very strange for me because at least for me, when I start my game, if I'm not playing Ursa, I'm banning it out like
Yeah.
every single time. I think that carry is pretty solid at the moment.
Especially with the second Roche Aghanim's Shard thing. Because Ursa's Shard is good, but it generally wasn't worth building.
Yeah, you don't want to buy
When
it.
you
It's
say
1400
good,
gold.
I'd argue it's like borderline broken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
For
it's
free.
pretty broken.
Is it broken for 1400? Like, is it, as far as carry shards go,
And the thing is, with the level 20 talent, you have what, like 9 seconds cooldown on it?
with
So
the Earth Shock?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're basically perma-enraged for like almost 6-7 seconds.
Yeah, you're just roaring.
It's-
You're just screaming at people.
And you
Yeah.
never know. Did you just ult or did you Earth Shock? Like if your camera's not on him, he doesn't have Enrage. No, he has Enrage, he has Enrage.
Especially against a hero like Timbersaw, where you're going to get a bunch of Fury Swipes. Okay, they ban it.
Yeah, they ban it.
No need to theory
You,
craft.
you don't also want to play against Ursa if you're a Timbersaw.
No.
So these two heroes kind of
They ban all the
Yeah.
heroes that lane decently.
decently
against Timber.
into both.
The first Warlock in Southeast Asia, China. This hero has been so popular in North America and Europe, and not banned, not picked, utterly ignored in the regions that we've been covering.
Yeah, but these are also the regions that should look up to SEA and
It's
China
true.
and take from them, not the other way around. After the major, at least.
You should.
So we're gonna see what? A Spectre Warlock lane? Maybe?
Yeah, Spectre was a very, very traditional pairing that I've seen in all the regions that have been picking Warlock.
I mean, there's a lot of decent heroes with Warlock.
It's still pretty dangerous into Lina and Centaur lane,
Yeah.
right? Like, doesn't
Centaur
matter.
in general kind of destroys Spectre in lane.
So it's good, but you can still be crushed even with the Shadow Word spam. It's not that strong. Okay, another one that we don't really see often, but it's so strong versus Warlock and Lion. Like
Yeah.
you have 2 targets throughout the whole
Of
game.
course, the classic.
The Spectre, yep. It's good versus Clockwork as
I
well.
have Dispersion. I heal you. Okay, you farm.
Yeah, and then team fights come along. Fatal Bonds plus Haunt.
Morph.
A lot of damage.
Into the Spectre.
Morph makes a lot of sense against Timbersaw, though.
Yeah, but
It's a bit
into the
scary against
Spectre.
Lion.
I
Yeah,
actually hate that matchup for
it's
Morphling.
not great, yeah, because you build Blade Mail and Dispersion.
And the Scuddy eventually as well. Like all
And
your
Manta
items,
style.
everything that you're buying is good versus Morphling. It's
Yeah.
about the itemization, really.
I think they just picked it because it lanes well into Timbersaw and all the others were kind of banned. I think they're banking on the fact that Centaur Lina will give them a hard time no matter what.
Yeah. This is a 5 Clockwork, by the way, or at least we're expecting that.
Yeah.
5 Clock with the Morphling on the safe lane.
I saw that at Team Liquid. Mickey had like 5 CS on Spectre when Centaur had like 30.
Yeah.
It can be a really rough matchup.
So even though Spectre, in our opinion, is strong versus Morphling, if Morphling just pulls out of control, then it's still hard for the Spectre to make an impact.
So what mid does T1 need? I wouldn't mind some... Actually, they have a pretty well-rounded draft already.
As we can see from these bars, they've got tower damage, they've
So
got
some
team
Sand
fight,
King,
they've got
right, mid lane
lockdown.
for T1.
Just to intentionally handicap themselves.
I'm down if he builds BKB. I'm down.
It wouldn't even be that bad, you know. You're playing with a Morphling.
No,
double
dude,
Sand
we
King.
saw that. We saw that Aghanim's Morphling, whatever. He went Aghanim's BKB Lincoln's Manta that one game, like the most defensive Morphling possible, and he had an ET and Sand King on his team, and he kept turning into Sand King.
Yeah, so the problem that you have if you're T1 right now is you do not have the last pick, right? So your mid lane needs to be picked accordingly so that it isn't countered by one hero completely.
They just need
You
like a
have to keep
stable
that
hero
in
that doesn't
mind,
lose
yeah.
lane, right?
Yeah. You also have Morphling option. That's also something. If the lane is really bad for the hero that you picked, you can maybe swap it up a little bit, put the Morphling mid lane.
Ban out Batrider, so maybe a melee mid laner, maybe a Void Spirit.
Batrider and Viper banned out. I'm actually surprised T1 are the ones that ban out Bat. Maybe picking it wouldn't be that horrible.
Yeah, especially
Into
against
the
a Timber
Timber,
Saw.
yeah. And also it's a hero that, yeah, you can lose the lane, but you'll catch up and you'll do your thing no matter what.
I mean, Void Spirit seems to be
The
the obvious answer.
Yeah.
the only left of the mid lane spirits.
I mean, I would love Earth Spirit as well. I just don't know if he plays it or not.
Oh,
Necro. I actually thought about Necro, but
That's perfect, right? It's pretty solid.
the thing is, it's quite risky against Warlock. Like, the reason why I like Void Spirit is because you can jump on the Warlock also. Like, you can't just solely rely on a Clockwork to jump on
But
it, I think.
you have Morphling, Clockwork, and Centaur for that, right? Like you do have backline reachers, more or less. So maybe the mid laner can be a Necro.
What about some good old SF?
Just blow him up.
I think SF destroys Necro in lane as well.
How do you keep SF alive, though? There's so many people who jump on him.
Yeah, you got Rock, you got Lion backup. Not the best.
How are you going to get out of Cogs?
The thing is, like, what else are you gonna pick against
Just
Necro?
go Pugna.
Partner is
You're into Clock, which is
and into Morph. It's
yeah,
a bit risky.
it's the same. It's the same problem,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Why
same
don't they
thing.
go Void Spirit?
No, against Necro is a terrible lane.
Yeah, but for the game, I feel like the silence would be pretty
It's just
great.
the thing is, like, they're playing to dominate lanes on T1, right? Like, if you lose that spec lane really hard and the mid lane really hard, then it's gonna be tough for you to transition to a mid game.
That's what you were saying in game one, though. And T1 won all the lanes, and then
get
they
some
still
OD.
lost.
Well, they didn't get stomped though. They lost the lanes, but they didn't get like super stomped.
True.
Look,
yeah.
OD, you have a save versus Necro ulti.
OD, I could
Really
see
good
OD
versus
potentially.
Morphling.
Yeah, actually.
The Meteor Hammer actually is pretty solid versus Necro as well.
Like, all the traditional Necro counters are kind of afraid of Clock.
That's the problem, exactly. But the Clock is a 5, so you have to kind of think, if he's the 5, then I can't really worry about him that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also true.
How does Invoker do against Necro?
Not the greatest.
No. You would have a Vessel Builder at least. And good call, Tsunami, damn.
I actually don't know why they picked it. I was
Just a
thinking about their
mid lane Invoker,
Yeah,
sure,
exactly.
let's go with it.
The only thing I could think of is a Tornado purchase off Ghost Shroud, and EMP is going to be kind of annoying.
And
he builds a Vessel,
And he
right?
builds
Versus
Vessel,
Morphling
yeah,
versus
exactly.
Necro.
it's
so.
decent. It's just like Necro doesn't really care about your presence.
Wait, this
ever.
is
All game long or
Carlina. This
just
is
in the lane?
Carlina, guys.
In the lane, mostly the Ice Wall
Oh,
gets
yeah.
annoying in the mid
Wait. It's Carlina. It's
Oh, it's
Cuckoo
an
Cuckoo.
offlane
Necro.
Necro. Okay,
It's
that makes a
offlane
lot
Necro.
more sense then. And it's post 4 Centaur.
Yeah.
We have seen it a lot like 2 years ago.
What?
Position 4 Centaur with an offlane Necro. Okay, you're laning into the Spectre,
It's a
so
good
that
lane for
lane
Necro.
should still be pretty solid. Lina should have a nice die mid lane.
I think this is beyond your two's brain power. B-Cop, Lacoste, can we get some consultation on what is going on here? Or
Such a compliment
no.
of my brain power. Oh, well.
Give me the brain
ended
power,
pretty
B-Cop.
Brain plow.
How do you feel about 4-position Centaur? Okay,
Not
we're
as
not
good as-
asking you anymore. Lacoste, what do you feel about 4-position Centaur?
This
I
was
need
a
more brain
thing
power.
a
2018.
couple of years ago. Yeah, I think it was doable. I remember also Puppy playing it as position 5. Maybe there is some good stuff to it. I'm just trying to think of what, like, because his ulti is now 90-second cooldown, but you're not gonna be as tanky. I would love him to be paired up with maybe something different, with a slow, with a stun. Necro doesn't provide you with that, but yeah, Necro should have a really good game on the bottom, nonetheless. Like, it's they can't kill Necro. That's the thing. And the EMP is annoying coming out from the mid lane. Not too much magic damage. It's gonna be Quasvex Invoker with the Spirit Vessel against the Necro, against the Morphling. I'm still leaning towards Boom Esports in this one.
Yeah, I'm going Boom as well. I think the Spectre Warlock is very, very successful in other regions. Lizard, how
Yeah,
about
same.
you?
Sticking with it. Spectre Warlock.
Black.
Yeah,
Sign me up.
sticking with it.
All right, we're
Spectre
all
Warlock.
booming it up.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
what's
no,
your call? You
I'm a
booming?
follower.
Let's boom it.
That's cool.
Okay, so
really leave
T1 then it is.
All right, B Cup on
Game
the
is
cost.
paused, game
Game
is
number
paused.
2. Or yeah, actually the game is paused. We can banter for a
Yeah,
little bit if you
let's
want.
Banter? I love some banter.
Never mind, it's on pause.
That's
Take
up.
it
all.
away.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Get my
bye.
hopes
Bye-bye.
up for the banter. Just wanted to talk to my friends.
Yeah, we don't see them too much, you know. I have not seen our observer boy Vepas in a week. I saw him once though, but we have a different schedule.
He shows up to walk with us once like a week to work. We're always shocked when he shows up. We miss him.
30 seconds
Yeah,
to bat.
didn't see him too much. He's been grinding pubs, controlling the camera. So yeah, mid Lina against Invoker, and then a position for Centaur. Zephyr starting with the boots and the Tango. Good thing is he's gonna lane with Necro, so there's gonna be some sustain, a bit more region coming up from that Death Pulse.
Before the Necro came out, I thought it was going to be like
The
Centaur
battle
Lina.
begins.
Same, because this lane is super strong. Like, Lina Centaur provides... Lina has a position 4, like, is one of the best 4s right now. I'm not sure why we're not seeing it in China and Southeast Asia, because the hero had... You got 100 mana LSA, level 1, so you can use it 6 times pretty much with the mana region and the cooldown, of course. It's insane. Plus, Fiery Soul got buffed, extra 2 seconds, you get that on level 2, and then you just right-click people down.
I think there was a time where we were seeing a lot of 4 Lina, like a year plus, like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, then she got nerfed, which was a bit too OP.
strong.
Yeah.
Because it was always a 4 Lina that would transition into like a core and start to right-click really hard. Ooh, Whirling Death and the Earth Spike landing on a White Mon. So we've got the 3 lanes on camera right now.
This should be a good lane for Boom Top. Morphling doesn't do much against the Timbersaw. Hyde needs to stay out of the XP range, get that fast level 3 on a Timbersaw, and could potentially just bail. Try to make stuff happen on the mid lane. They have a really good setup with the Tornado, or they can make a tri-lane bottom, because Timbersaw, he doesn't care too much about the clockwork. Yeah, we can see Morphling already struggling on the top lane.
Only 2 CS right now. Whirling Death comes out, Battery Assault from White Mon. He's been playing pretty aggressive, trying to move forward with that Battery Assault, but he needs to be careful, especially once the level 2s come out for Boom.
Needs to be careful, especially since they hit level 2. Whirling Death, like, it's just so much damage. Lion keeping a point, just in case he either needs a Hex or he wants to drain the Morphling. Mid lane, Invoker struggling, you know. Playing against Lina, your damage is just not there. It's very hard to last hit with Invoker.
And he's going to the Quaswex build. Were you expecting Quaswex, or would you
for
have
sure.
wanted something else there?
You need EMP. It's a very defensive tools. Necro, Morphling, these heroes need mana. Centaur also has a low mana pool. You have a Dispel against the Ghost Shroud with the Tornado. You build into Spirit Vessel against the Morphling, against the Necro. So that's definitely going to be his natural item choice in this game.
Tornado landing on a car.
He's just going to get all the denies. 15-8 against 8-0 on Invoker, level 3. He's gonna need some help. Like, Lion should try to stack a camp, possibly, you know, get a help on a mid lane. Has mana drain, so not too much kill potential with the drain. But if you get a point in Hex, then you can set things up with Tornado, wrap around. You want to leave XP to the Timbersaw. So let's see where Hyde wants to go. Has a smoke as well.
Courier getting taken out. Yeah, so we'll keep our eyes on Hyde, but you've also got bottom Cuckoo. For right now, he's just kind of sustaining in the lane.
Yeah, they can't do too much to this Necro. Warlock doesn't provide you with much damage. You know, he can be annoying with the Fatal Bonds, but Necro shouldn't die in this lane. Both Spectre and Necro will be able to farm in this lane. I don't think we're going to see too much action happening.
Well, the St. lands onto Makoto. Right click's coming in. He needs to be very careful.
He needs help on the mid lane because exactly, it's getting very hard for him. Dragon Slave actually connects. Rune will spawn. They can't even control that. Mikoto brought the tango, has infused raindrop.
Is Heidi gonna spot this? Whitemon wants to.
He blocked the big
Jump
camp.
on him.
He
Yeah.
blocked the ancient camp, so that cannot be stacked.
We'll see how long that takes for Hyde to notice, because not only did he get that sentry down, he's put the observer there, that which will spot them doing those stacks. 23 still taking a lot of damage. His lane has been just about as good as how the Spectres is going bottom. You see, the one who's really struggling, and we've talked about it already, is just the Invoker.
He uses full combo. Tornado, EMP, Cold Snap, just to get some mana back, a bit of harassment on Lina, and gets 1 CS out of it. Tries to zone him out of the lane. Lina stacking the small camp for herself. Centaur will refill the bottle on the mid.
So now Carl working with that bottle, and he's about to hit that level 6, so Makoto might need to be careful of that Laguna Blade coming out, and I wouldn't be surprised either to see Carl rotate off the lane. They're going on for Cuckoo. They've got the Earth Spike. They have the damage. Fatal Bonds connected to all these creeps as well as Cuckoo. Whitemon and Zephyr make the
Kezcute is dead.
rotation, and Kezcute hit with the hoof stomp. He'll die. First blood there for Zephyr. They're looking for more with the battery assault. It only takes once on Hyde, and a pretty late hit regardless.
Yeah, this is the tri-lane that I talked about. They feed a first blood to T1. Zephyr has another stun available. I love the build on Cuckoo. Has magic wand, casual cloak. Understand that the damage they have is magical. Holding a fairy fire. Just wants to be able to tank up. They use the healing salve on him as well. Now back to full HP. Spectre does not like to play into Necro. Like, this has been the counter to Spectre throughout the history of Dota. Just, you're the hero that wants to play on like low HP, and Necro does not allow you to do that. This time around, they have no real saves against the Reaper's side. You and me were talking about like what could potentially be the last pick for Boom. Panel also discussed about it. Lizard said, you know, OD, I think that would have been a much better choice than the Invoker, where you like get a bit of tower damage, you have a setup for a Meteor Hammer, and then you have a save against the Reaper side. Necro does not like to play into any of these matchups like Shadow Demon, OD, Oracle. It's just very hard for him to find an opportunity to use that Reaper side.
Yeah, that was my thought to it. Maybe even do something a little bit different and go into a mid Shadow Demon, but the Invoker pick kind of leaves me a bit baffled. I understand what they want from it, but we've seen how strong the OD's been before. So I'm surprised that
My
was
problem
a choice
with
for them.
Quasvex Invoker is, especially if you're playing into bad matchup, like, you need to make the right rotations. You misuse one of the rotations, you don't get the charge on your urn, and then it becomes problematic. Savage turning into Timbersaw, that's one way to counter him. You have this pure damage coming out from him, but very low on mana. Both heroes, pretty much.
And Timber's got the Soul Ring. See if he uses that to try and make something happen. And there's a D ward from Whitemon. Basically knowing exactly where that ward is. And the ward that they have on the high ground is just out of the vision of the sentry. So they're only able to see that. That's on the high ground. They've got themselves the Earth Spike as well as the EMP. Doesn't do a lot there, but does drain a little bit of mana.
Very limited on damage early on from Boom. Like, Spectre doesn't provide you with much. Haunt is available right now. Invoker, he needs that Urn of Shadow charge to be able to get the kill. Zephyr getting chased. Necro will heal him once.
Oh, can he get the kill with the Fatal Bonds on this? Oh, 36, and we'll use the Haunt just to secure the kill.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Just 200 gold for Spectre, some XP, Power Tread's done, Soul Ring done, going into Blade Mail. Like, Blade Mail feels natural. It's your also farming tool from Spectre.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Lion still lurking around the mid lane, but he got spotted by that
Radiant
ward.
are scanning.
Yeah, that's just out of the sentry, like I said before, and you see FBZ just staying in the face of 23. He's not really shutting down his farm completely. If he can get a kill on this Morphling, maybe it would, but he's falling just short every time.
FBZ being annoying on the top lane, that is all. He should not be able to die on Morphling. Has a couple of magic stick charges, has a Fairy Fire, decides to TP out. They need to bring one extra hero, possibly to stun him, surprise him with the Lion. Both supports kind of under-leveled for Boom, level 4. And both of these heroes rely heavily on getting that dome, being able to do stuff with their level 6.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Kodo now level 8. And not too far in terms of experience behind the Lina. The net worth, though,
Dire's top tower
about a
is under
300
attack.
split. So nothing too crazy, because neither hero has really rotated to get a kill yet. A bit surprising Carl hasn't done it, that's for sure. I would have expected him to maybe move, go throw Laguna Blade, get a quick kill somewhere.
Dire's
Say on
top
somebody
tower
like the
is under
Warlock.
attack.
He DPs, just continues to farm the jungle, working
Dire's
towards
top
the
tower
Yule
has
Scepter.
fallen.
Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Kezcute collecting some XP. I guess, yeah, Lion took the tome because Warlock is getting some levels on the bottom. I talked how important it is that both of these heroes get to level 6. Still saving a point. Before, people who were listening to me, I know there aren't many people, but I always said if you put another point, if you put more than 2 points in Shadow Word, you don't know.
Certainly, we're feeling nice. And Spectre's just farming the entire time. Has the blade mail. I say farming the entire time, but got involved using that haunt both times. But for the most part, using that blade mail to really up the farm and try and get towards the top, not too far away from where Cuckoo is, who's sitting top of the net worth, quietly sitting top of the net worth. We haven't seen a Reaper Scythe slam down yet. He's just been doing his thing. Toto coming over, cold snap, Stampede gets used. They've got the Hex as well as the Earth Spike, Finger in, Zephyr getting taken out with ease.
I mean, it's a position for Centaur. He's having okay, you know, farm for a position for Cent. He maxed out the Retaliate, farmed the jungle a bit, and now working towards the Blink Dagger. So that's going to be their another form of initiation on top of Clockwork.
Oh, shot on the Kez cute. Battery Assault, Cogs around him, trying to run. Carl coming over, Dragon Slave, Battery Assault, Reaper Scythe is there. So will be used on a support, which is the Warlock. He's dead for 40. Not sure it's entirely felt when you use it on the Warlock like that.
We still haven't seen Rock being used.
No, not yet.
I guess they just feel very comfortable playing this into like mid-game, not losing too much out of the map. Right now it's pretty even. And yeah, when you have Spectre in the team, you're like, you know, we're good to go. Working towards that Manta style into Scotty. He already knows what he wants to go for. Great to reduce the healing from Necro. Great to reduce the healing from this Morphling. And just with the Manta style online, there's a possibility that you can go inside the pit because it also, like Dispersion and Desolate, like Desolate most importantly works on illusion, so you can take the Roshan fast enough.
Tornado, Meteor, and Cold Snap on a Zephyr doing a decent chunk of damage. Forced to use the Stampede again. Just these offlaners fighting in the mid lane. Ooh, hookshot used again. Earth Spike with the adaptive strike to get the kill. Out on the hide. Sunstrike down on a White Mom, but no way to stop the TP. So T1, this Morphling starting to really move around the map and get these pickoffs that 23 is really enjoying getting. Some top of the net worth at the moment too.
Necro also having a good time. You need to upgrade boots on Necro. Like Necro feels so slow, even with power threads. Power threads plus Yule Scepter, 320 movement speed. What? Like this hero is not moving. I thought it's gonna be like around 330, 335, maybe.
Just 320.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So Shadow Word is maxed out. Okay.
Thoughts?
Okay-ish. You know, I still prefer because you can put points later on. It's a lot of damage, it's a lot of heal mid lane.
Hookshot missed, but they've got the hook stomp coming through. They'll have Cogs to wrap around FBC with the Earth Spike hitting out of the Necro. Timber Chain out, and the Cold Snap on a White Mon. EMP drop down. Cuckoo is already at about half mana. They rip apart White Mon with FBC, and they're still chasing. LSA, right clicks from Carl, Laguna Blade, and the Chaotic Offering down on top of Cuckoo and Carl, but no follow-up to it.
That wasn't even close. Like, this Timbersaw is going to be full HP. Like, even if Lina had Aghanim Scepter at this point, like, the pure damage wouldn't kill him.
Wow. Yeah, all right, Laguna Blade used and Chaotic Offering down.
Yeah, seems like we had some issues with the stream. The stream seemed to be down, but we're now back. Potentially because Warlock put more than 2 points in Shadow Word. So the stream went down.
That's the power of putting 2 in the Shadow Word, or more than 2 in Shadow Word.
Oh, and he finds it. This is the dream for Warlock. Finds the Philly Stone. 80 GPM.
He's not taking much damage here. Hook shot, still the control. Now they've got to the haunt. They've got the Euro Spike. They'll land it on a Whitemon. Get the kill there. Look over a Cuckoo. Timber chain forward. FBZ moving in. Again, these heroes on T1 just don't really have the damage to kill the Timber.
Also liking the itemization on Timber Sword this time around. Not going for any greedy build. Thinking about the theme more. Finishing that pipe, and now going back to Bloodstone, which is okay. Was thinking about getting the Guardian Greaves, but there's no Spirit Vessel. Nothing to really dispel in this game. So like pipe is really good against the magical damage that they got. Will mitigate a lot of it.
Up into the air, looking for the hook stop. That lands. Tornado comes through, hits onto 2. Earth Spike also hits on 2. Every time you say Filet Stone,
Yeah.
it sounds like a yogurt brand. Filet.
Filet? Yeah. Sounds very classy. And he's the one keeping it, because Lion already has his Blink Dagger, so that's okay. 1 point in mana drain on Lion sometimes is a bit problematic, because you just don't get enough mana back.
Spectre, Blink, Hoof Stomp. Doesn't avoid it. Now they've got the Reaper Sight. The damage in so quick on a Dream Cell. Dead for 75.
Yeah, those extra seconds coming out from the Reaper Sight. 25, level 2 ulti is a lot, you know, especially on a hero like a Spectre. So now they're going to go inside the pit. Mental Style done on Morphling. Will tank up some damage from the Roshan.
Sunstriker spotted. They don't have Spectre for so long. You know, this could be a problem. Chakram thrown in, Tornado, EMP, all missing.
Like, this is bugged. This can't be real. Like, Necro's move speed is not 320 with Faded Brooch, Yule Scepter, and Power Treads. It's definitely bugged.
Could be. Earth Spike, Finger, Zephyr gone. They pick up the Aegis on to 23. Okay. Looks like 23 was stuck there for a second.
I like how you get the voice lines from the hero you morph into.
So do you get the voice lines based on the level you are on morph on the heroes you morph into?
I'm not a morph player.
Okay.
I only play good heroes, the heroes that are fun to play. You know, the heroes that are not completely busted for 5 years in a row.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to ask a morph player to answer that question for me. There's probably at least one in chat.
So yeah, his movement speed is 280. So that move speed is bugged.
Wait, it's 280. So it's
280 is starting, yeah. So he gets 45 from Power Treads. So that gets him to 325. Faded Brooch is 20. Yule Scepter also gives 20. So yeah, for some reason it's bugged.
Carry the 1. It's 365. On use Spirit Vessel onto the Centaur. They'll continue to try and jump. They've got the Cold Snap on him. Hoofstop actually hit the Timber as he was Timber chaining across, but Zephyr's still dead.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Spirit Vessel does help to get the kill. KSQ gets
guess. Get yourself an XPG